Netflix.
But I wanted a physical copy of it, Ryan.
It's on Netflix.
Whatever. So we are going to review a movie that is being released tomorrow by Saban Films. It is directed by the Nelms brothers, who were nice enough to come on and talk about this movie. It stars Mel Gibson and Walton Goggins and Marianne Jean-Baptiste, and it is called Fatman. Ryan, what is Fatman about?
So this is a heartwarming film about a young child who got coal in his stocking and decides to take out a hit on Santa. So Walter Goggins is hired by this small child to hunt down and murder Santa Claus.
If that doesn't get you on board for this movie right there, I don't know what the hell you're doing listening to this show. But
dude, yeah, okay, like
it's so funny, and I didn't tell you this yesterday, but I told somebody else that's a friend of ours about this, and she is not a big movie fan whatsoever. I literally basically described it just like that and told her Mel Gibson is Santa Claus, and she was like, I need to watch that movie right now.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
It is such a great premise, like, and the other half of the story is that, like, Santa Claus, since there's so many bad kids in the world, that business has dropped precariously, and you know the actual U.S. government for the most part have been like subsidizing his Christmas operation
because it helps consumerism in
America. Yeah, like booms the economy.
Which is a great like, you know, dig at the U.S. Like
it's pretty funny. But anyways, like since there's so many bad kids, there's not that many kids that get gifts, and so the U.S. government isn't sending as much subsidy. And they're close to having like shut down the toy shop, and so to like underwrite his toy operation, he makes a deal with the U.S. Army or Air Force to manufacture fighter jet parts at his factory. It's a whole fucking like shit show of a movie, but it is so amazing.
And it's underscored to show that kids are shitheads. Santa goes on his like run on Christmas Eve and gets buckshotted by like these shithead kids in the Midwest, basically.
He takes a bullet during his fucking like Christmas toy run.
It's insane,
dude. Yeah, and
Mel Gibson. Like, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or the Jindo in the room. Mel Gibson plays Santa. Mel Gibson has had some controversies in the past.
Interesting choice to play Santa Claus at this point.
But like a great casting, and it's hilarious like watching him play Santa Claus. I really am worried that the fact that they casted Mel Gibson is going to have some detraction from the movie to where some people
okay, hold on, wait. Do you think anybody who like sees this trailer and like thinks the premise of this movie is funny is then gonna be like, oh, you know what? I'm the type of person who's gonna have qualms about Mel Gibson's like personal life. No, anyone who thinks the premise of this movie is funny is not gonna give a fucking shit about like what Mel Gibson has or hasn't done in the past.
I'm not saying anybody who thinks this movie is going to be funny is going to be like have a problem with like what Mel Gibson has done. What I'm worried about is somebody who just hears the premise and then goes and looks at like a review or something, or looks for reviews. Mm-hmm. The people reviewing it right now do not like Mel Gibson, and so they're trashing this movie.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Because it now has like a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, and so that is my worry, is that because it is Mel Gibson, there is going to be that hate for it, and it's not going to be justified.
I really don't think anyone who like sees this trailer is going to give a shit what the reviews are. Like if you see this trailer, you're going to be like, this is a hysterical premise. Like I have to see this movie. It's not going to be like, oh, well, if it's above a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, I'll check it out.
You never know, man. You never know.
Maybe.
I think people do look at that sometimes and think about like, okay, like what is this movie doing?
Oh, yeah, for like the typical movie, yes, but like not.
This movie is insane.
Not
it is
like
hilarious.
Psychotic, assassin after Santa Claus Christmas movie. I don't think many people are going to really...
But you get my point. Like
I mean, yeah.
That is going to happen. And now, is it going to happen a lot? Probably not. But like the fact that it's going to happen at all is kind of bullshit and like shouldn't happen. You should just like watch this movie and enjoy like the absolute absurdity of it for another actor's specific reason. go and watch this just to watch Walton Goggins all over your screen. This is peak Walton Goggins. It is so much fun to watch him do his thing in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah, gather the kids, gather grandma, get them together on Christmas Eve, and watch Fatman.
Is that your review? Is that the interview review?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
Don't listen to the fucking critics.
No, and that's really why I wanted to bring that
They're
up.
only mad because Mel Gibson's a clear anti-Semite.
Yeah. And that's why we have to bring it up, because I don't want anti-Semite.
Anti-Semite.
Semite?
Semite?
Semite.
Semite.
But that's why we have to, because I don't want to just be like, oh, this is a great movie, and then somebody's like, oh, you approve of what he's saying? It's like, no, like we can kind of separate who he is from this movie and enjoy the movie overall, because the movie is very enjoyable. And it's the other thing that I wanted to highlight through this was, this is now a pattern for the Nelms brothers of making very serious, action-packed, comedic subversion type of movies, and they have their own style, and it's going to be very interesting to see what they continue to do.
Yeah, because I mean, Small Town Crimes like kind of did the same thing, where they took like an actor that was kind of typecast, and like John Hawkes like has a character that he plays, right? Like a soft-spoken supporting character, and completely flipped it on its head and made him this like alcoholic maniac, in their own words, like, you know,
Literally.
yeah, who, you know, is an ex-cop, like drunk, just insane. Like that movie it wasn't over the top. It was like had a really kind of down to earth storyline where, you know, there's like an ex-cop is hired to assist in a murder case, or like trying to find out what's happened to this missing person. But holy shit, like they just took it over the top with Fatman, where, you know, they took the like typical Christmas movie or like Santa Claus story and completely subverted it and did, you know, whatever the fuck they wanted with it. Like,
well, it's interesting that they like basically said, you know, they look at Santa Claus as a superhero, and he has and when I was reading on IMDb one of their bios, they said that they were super into superhero, you know, comic books back when they were kids. So it's very obvious, and it makes a whole lot of sense as you watch it to think like, oh, yeah, they really saw Santa as a superhero and somebody who has extra or super strength, and it basically can read minds or whatever, or like knows everybody and like can know what everybody wants to do, and if they're not,
he like knows everyone's backstory and like everyone's, because, you know, the common parlance is like Santa Claus sees everything you're doing, and so he like quite literally knows everything about you.
Yeah, and so it's like that's such an interesting thing to do in this movie, where it's like, yeah, he's a superhero who knows everything about you, and he has super strength, and we won't give away the end of it, but there's something at the end that is also another part of his superpowers. And so, yeah, like that whole thing, and it's like you get to the end of the movie and you're like, Jesus Christ, yeah, he's a freaking superhero, and maybe an anti-hero basically, because that's how the movie kind of ends it off. And it's like, holy shit, like where could this go?
I wouldn't say that quite. Like I would say he like wasn't kind of an anti-hero that like kind of transitioned back into being like the true hero he was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right. And we do have to talk about like the kid who hires the hitman to go kill Santa Claus,
who is played by Chance Hurstfield.
So this kid, like this whole storyline is fucking hysterical, because this kid is like, obviously his dad is some, you know, jet-setting businessman who like doesn't make an appearance in the film whatsoever. He's always like out on business. And he lives with his grandmother and like a host of maids and servants in the home. And this kid's like this little like fucking, you know, Napoleon type character. It starts off where he goes to the school science fair, and he's got 4 ribbons on his jacket where he was the first place winner in the past 4 science fairs. But another child, this little girl, actually wins the science fair, and he is the runner-up. So he originally hires Walter Goggins to kidnap this little girl, and has her tied up in the basement of his home, and then threatens her with a car battery.
Yeah.
To make her go and tell the school that she had cheated in the science fair so that he could then in turn get the first place ribbon for the 5th year in a row. Fucking hysterical. And then it cuts to Christmas Eve where he doesn't get anything from Santa because obviously he's a shithead.
And he does get one thing.
He gets coal, right?
Yeah, lump of coal.
He gets a lump of coal, as is tradition. And he immediately calls Walter Goggins like, I got a fucking job for you, bro.
Yeah, and Walton Goggins had been
collecting toys
from Santa.
Yeah, and trying to because he has it out for Santa as well because Santa did him dirty back in the day also, and so he's been collecting toys from the toy shop, trying to figure out where the fuck this guy lives and how he can get back at him.
Well, and the reason, and I don't want to. This is another spoiler, and this is another part of the movie that I really, really liked, where they led this to. The reason that he was so at odds with Santa is kind of a tragic reason. And so when you see that and you finally hear that, you're like, oh, that kind of makes sense. But you get to that point and it's like, oh, Jesus, this guy just really, he gets his dream job where he gets to hunt down Santa.
Yeah, exactly.
To him, it's like, fuck yeah, dude. Let's go. Let's do this. But the kid, as he did that car battery scene, I was like, this is just an evil Bruce Wayne. If Bruce Wayne wanted to use all of the money to be a little shithead, this is what he would do.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is what, if he wasn't going to be Batman, he would have been this kid.
What was that movie that was the dark Superman?
Brightburn.
Brightburn, yeah. This is kind of
I thought of that too, yeah.
This is kind of like Batman Brightburn. Esque type thing.
They,
the other thing I compared it to is this kid kind of reminds me of Scarface.
Yeah.
Al Pacino,
For sure.
So funny, dude.
It's just a fun, we said this about Small Town Crime, which the Nelm brothers also directed. We said it was a fun, very interesting movie and just a good hour-and-a-half movie to watch. It's nothing crazy this is crazy. It's nothing spectacular. It's nothing that's going to win any awards, but it's a good, fun, ridiculous movie that you should go out and watch. And this is the exact same type of thing. And it's an even more ridiculous plot. The trailer for it is so much fun, and it's an hour and 40 minutes. It is a fun hour and 40 minutes. So go watch this movie. This is another one that you should go. And I would have said that about this even if we hadn't had the brothers on.
Yeah, sure.
The brothers are super cool. The interview that we did and that will premiere here in a bit was a lot of fun. But this is something that we would have promoted and told people to go watch anyways because it's a crazy movie. So,
this is a very fitting Christmas movie for 2020.
Yes. Which, Ryan, what is your max Gendo head rating?
I think I'm going to give this one a 3.75.
You have a reason for that?
I mean...
3.75? All right.
Yeah,
was a 4.
What was yours?
4.
4? Yeah, I mean, I could easily give it a 4 too, but, I mean... Yeah. It was good. I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's a hysterical, dark Christmas movie.
It's a rewatchable enough movie that, it's just a fun, crazy flick that I think everybody should check out. You're definitely going to have time if we go back into lockdowns to watch this, but
fucking say that, man.
Even over Thanksgiving, you could watch it, or over your Christmas break, check it out because it comes out. I said it wrong in the interview, so you'll hear that in a little bit, but don't listen to me in the first part of that. But
it's on VOD on November 24th.
Yes, and also
in theaters today.
So go check out Fatman with Mel Gibson, Walton Goggins, and Maureen Jean-Baptiste and Chance Hurstfield. So without further ado, we talked about it a little bit, and we were able to talk with Esham and Ian Nelms. They were great guys. We want to thank them again for coming on, and here they are.